Should you be buying gold or should you be buying silver? Let's talk about some key differences between the two precious metals when we return. All right, YouTube. So should you be buying gold or should you be buying silver? Happy Friday, YouTube stackers and precious metals accumulators. I'm the Florida Stacker, and in this first video of this two-part video series, we're going to look at the 3 benefits to owning silver over gold and why I think silver is a terrific choice for you to buy and hold, especially for the long term. In tomorrow's video, we'll play the advocate and look at 3 benefits to owning gold over silver. That'll make my friend 2 is 1 happy. All right, first let me welcome back my current subscribers. Thank you for tuning in today, and thank you for your continued support of this channel. If you're new here and you enjoy precious metals featured content, I like to unbox gold, silver, and even sometimes platinum rounds, bars, and coins. We like to talk about the market and the changes in spot price and what's driving the valuation of gold and silver. I especially like to talk about where to buy and sell gold and silver. I also talk about how to store your gold and silver, and we're even going to get into here soon how to test and identify fake gold and silver. All right, so which of the metals should you focus your attention on, and why did you choose silver? Let's get started. All right, so now that everyone is subbed and hit that like button, let's talk about 3 great reasons to buy and hold silver coins. And let's start out with what I think is the most obvious in my opinion, and that is the cost or affordability of silver over gold. I'm sure many of you have heard this term before, but silver has often been referred to as poor man's gold because of its lower price. But in my opinion, most importantly to note is also due to its similarities with gold. Before I go further, I need you to know this about silver, and that is that silver is money, okay? Silver is money just like gold. It has also never defaulted just like gold. So whether you are buying and holding only silver, all right, or both precious metals, they're both valuable, they're both in high demand, and in many ways, they are both pegged inversely to the United States dollar. That is, like most assets out there, stocks, real estate, as the value of the dollar decreases, those assets that are valued in dollars increases. Like all fiat currencies, the dollar is designed to devalue over time, something that we call inflation, okay? So therefore, while there are advantages to each of these 2 precious metals, some of which we're going to talk about today with silver, it's important, very important to note that both precious metals are indeed money, okay? Let's get that straight right from the top. All right, so advantage number 1 for silver over gold is affordability. You can buy a lot more silver than you can gold. And currently, silver is trading at a spot price valuation of approximately $25, while gold, on the other hand, is trading at a valuation of approximately $1,900. So using a ratio known as the gold to silver ratio, precious metals investors or stackers like me, we can track which of the 2 metals is currently gaining value over the other metal. That changes daily, okay? All right, the gold to silver ratio is the amount of silver in troy ounces, valued in US dollars, of course, that you would need to own in order to have an equal value with 1 troy ounce of gold. Also, of course, valued in US dollars. Or put more simply, how much silver do you have to hold to be worth 1 troy ounce in gold? Currently, the gold to silver ratio, or GSR as it's commonly referred to, is hanging out in the mid-70s or 70 to 1 roundabout, indicating that more than 70 ounces of silver are required to equal 1 ounce of gold. So silver is much more affordable than gold, which means you can buy a lot more of it. So why does this make silver more advantageous? Okay, well, I'll tell you why. Because not only much more silver in weight can you hold due to the value of silver, but also the many different designs. Silver coins, silver rounds, and silver bars are minted by many sovereign nations and privately owned mints in a multitude of different designs. Silver offers a lot more flexibility to the buyer in terms of design, weight, and form. Okay, you can get these big chunks of silver. You can get silver statues. People do silver pouring. There's silver coins, silver rounds, little silver bars, medium silver bars, big silver bars, gigantic silver bars. All right. So that could be considered an advantage. So silver offers a lot more flexibility to the buyer, all right, for both holders and investors. Silver's first advantage over gold is that you can capture many of the same benefits of holding gold, but due to its price, a lot more of it and in a lot more variety in forms and designs. So, reason number two to choose silver over gold is the fact that silver is a much more useful metal for industrial applications than gold. That's right. To put it simply, silver isn't just a monetary metal. Now, gold does have some industrial applications, but they are much fewer and further in between than silver. And the future looks a lot brighter from an industrial perspective for silver. To put it simply, silver isn't just a monetary metal, okay? Because of this, when the economy is strong and there's less fear in the market, silver could see an advantage over gold when people move out of low risk assets like bonds and gold and back into the stock market or higher risk assets. Something like silver, typically people go to it during times of fear, just like gold, its monetary metal attribute. Some folks might decide to invest in silver because emerging technologies and its industrial applications continue to increase. First and foremost, here we know that silver is a limited material, okay? It's not going to stay around forever. It doesn't duplicate. And unlike cash, it cannot be created indefinitely and out of thin air. I can't just pick up the phone right now and call down to the local printing press and say, hey, go ahead, or minting press, I should say in this case, go ahead and mint me another 500,000 ounces of silver. And it's got to be mined. It's got to be refined. It's a process, okay? As new technologies emerge and the Earth continues to experience an ever-increasing population, so also will the demand for silver in industrial applications increase, which will propel the value of silver up going forward, especially when looking at it from a long-term point of view. So silver's hybrid nature as a monetary as well as industrial metal does make it an interesting commodity to both hold as well as speculate on. That's right. Silver is much more of a speculative play than gold. We'll talk about that more tomorrow in our gold-focused video. All right, while there are many different reasons to own one precious metal over the other, the third advantage of silver is the fact that silver isn't being stockpiled or held nearly as much as gold. And much of silver is actually lost and not recycled each year, which over time will add to future supply and demand crunches when the need and requirement for silver as a population increases. Much of the new silver that is being mined today is also being mined as a secondary metal to copper mining or gold mining. Mining is a very expensive operation. I'm sure that you are aware of that. And in order to mine specifically for silver, a couple of things are going to have to happen. First of all, demand for silver is going to have to increase, and the value of silver is going to have to increase too. All right, so with the value of silver so low right now, there's just simply less people willing to mine for silver. And with the value of silver being so low as compared to gold, storing a lot of silver is also expensive and can be cumbersome to move, okay? It's very heavy when you talk about over 70 troy ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. You've got 5 ounces of gold in front of you here today, so you would need 350 plus ounces of silver to have the same value. Okay, now think about a big bank. Think about a bank or even larger, a small country, maybe a European country, or think about a large country, a large industrial Western nation, a first world nation like the United States, okay? Imagine how much storage would be required to store that much silver. All right, so this fact, of course, does work both for and against silver, but it's important to note that the lack of silver stockpiles currently, globally, will eventually cause a supply crunch due to the continued rising demand for silver, right? That population is increasing, demand is increasing, applications for silver are increasing. Now, of course, this could all be potentially offset if the value of silver does overcome the current market manipulations that silver has been experiencing for many decades and begins to ascend to a higher valuation, which of course, the higher in value silver goes, it will attract new companies to the silver mining business. That's just the same as spot price. I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos lately that people don't buy silver when it's $15, but they do buy it when it's $25 or $30. And the same applies to the valuation of silver when it comes to mining, okay? As people see that the value of the commodity is increasing, it draws more interest. And that goes as well as those that want to pull it out of the ground and sell it and make a profit from it. So that's 3 reasons why I think you should hold silver. Obviously, I think you should hold both metals like I have in front of you today. But if we're looking at the 3 key advantages, 3 that come to mind without having to do a bunch of research, the 3 advantages are affordability, silver's industrial application, and the fact that we will see a future supply-demand crunch on silver, as the metal has been so undervalued for so long, and it's quite expensive to store it, right, in large quantities to get the value of silver that a big institutional bank or nation would like to hold. We're talking a lot of storage space, right? And the expense of keeping it safe and keeping it secure. So the lack of stockpiling, the industrial demand, especially in the future, as well as the affordability of silver over gold are 3 terrific reasons why I think that you should buy and hold silver, especially for the long term. We're going to see a continued increasing population. We're going to see increasing demand, especially on the medical and energy sectors on the industrial side for silver. All right, so as the population increases and demand for silver increases, that brings us into the fact that it's just not being stockpiled. Its undervalued price for decades now has just made it not really affordable for people to go out and start businesses or to shift their business to mining specifically for silver, which is why silver, most of it that's refined today, that comes out of the ground today, is actually being pulled out of the ground when mining for other metals and not specifically for silver. So a small stockpile does indicate a future supply-demand crunch. We know there's an increasing population, and we know there's an increasing demand. We know that it's expensive to store silver because it's less dense than gold, all right? So it's thicker. It takes up more space when it comes to the same weight, right? So 1 troy ounce of silver as compared to 1 troy ounce of gold, silver just takes up more space. These are all things to consider when looking at silver. Supply crunch, its affordability, and the unique features of all the different designs out there that creates that collector appeal, as well as the multitude of industrial applications. All 3 great reasons to consider buying and holding silver for the long term. All right, everybody, that's going to conclude today's video. Once more, if you're not subscribed to the channel and you enjoyed today's video, please do consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that thumbs up button. When you hit that thumbs up button, it draws in the YouTube algorithm, okay? That's really important, and that's why I ask for it all the time. It doesn't take much effort. Please do hit that thumbs up like button if you enjoyed today's video, or thumbs down if you didn't, but hopefully you picked up on these 3 great reasons to buy and hold silver. Hopefully you agree, but if you don't, I'd like to see it down in the comments section. I only ask, of course, that you keep it respectful. Also, I ask that you, interact with one another. All right, interact with one another. There's a plethora of information out there held by my subscribers, and many of my core subscribers, they frequently comment down below in the comments section. So take a look at the comments section. You can learn a lot from the other folks here that are watching today's video. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Tomorrow, I'll have another video out, part 2, on 3 great reasons to buy and hold gold over silver. So stay tuned for that one. Keep stacking, my friends, and we'll see you tomorrow during our next video.